Could somebody please make it make sense?
Hey everybody, welcome to Pop of Culture. I'm your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, and this is a Pop of Culture, which is my video essay podcast where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and human experience from a Black, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything, and I mean everything I say, should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a recent college grad with access to a recording device and the internet. With that being said, it shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views unless it's truly relevant. If you disagree with anything I say, let's have a civil conversation in the comment section below. Before we get into the topic of this video, which are some sections of Twitter that I've had to detach myself from, I want to advertise my cover channel, A Pop of Culture Sings, where I sing throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, whatever I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. So if you want to be down like Brandy, if you're down with the click RP Aaliyah, then definitely feel free to check that channel out. Okay, so the topic of today's video is going to be some spaces on Twitter that I've had to unplug myself from. This video is inspired by some spaces on Twitter that I had to mute last night, why I had to mute them, my thoughts on them. I wanted to make a video about why I muted these accounts and the impact I feel social media has had on my personal life, and I want to discuss with y'all the impact social media may have on your life. So let's get into it. So the first niche on Twitter that I had to mute, that I had to disengage with, is Idyllic Relationship Twitter. And Idyllic Relationship Twitter is all about the things that you should get in a good quality, healthy relationship. And I feel a lot of Idyllic Twitter is people in their 20s and in their 30s fantasizing about what you should get in a relationship, what they want in a relationship. There's some people who are on Idyllic Twitter who have that type of relationship, but I feel like most of the people on Idyllic Twitter are people who want this type of a relationship. This is something that they're hoping for, manifesting, praying for. This is something that they really want, and so they'll tweet about love is finding someone who respects your love language and who learns to love you in the way that you need to be loved. Love is being with someone who truly appreciates you and wants to see you grow and who builds you up. Tweets like that. So you may be thinking to yourself, that's just good positive tweets about good healthy relationships. Why would you mute that? Why would you not want to engage with that? And for me personally, the reason why I decided to disengage with Idyllic Relationship Twitter is because when I'm going on social media, I'm minding my single Black business, doing my thing. I feel like it's not necessarily in my best interest to read all these tweets about the power of love. The power of love! And the benefits of being in a stable, healthy, long-term relationship, if that's not necessarily my reality. Because I guess for me, based off of me and my life experiences up to this point, I feel like it's not necessarily my season to have that type of really healthy, emotionally mature, fulfilling relationship, which is fine because I'm in my early 20s. I feel like right now is my time to really focus on me and build myself up. But I guess for me, as someone minding my single Black business, I don't necessarily need to open my Twitter to see all these tweets opining about the beauty of a healthy, loving, sacred, mutually beneficial relationship. Because as I said, minding my single Black business, that's not necessarily my reality now, and it's not necessarily my season for that. So I feel like when I read these tweets hyperfixating on the beauty of this type of healthy, loving relationship, I feel like it can easily make me feel inadequate, make me feel like, well, is there something wrong with my life? Is there something missing from my life?
She cries in her lonely heart thinking, if there's nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night?
If I'm not experiencing that. So for me, I personally had to unplug from Idyllic Relationship Twitter because I feel like when it is my time, when it is my season, then I feel like messages like that will help me to look at my relationship and see things that should be happening, things that may need to be worked on. But as a single person, those idyllic tweets, I feel like they just take me out of enjoying my single existence. I'm enjoying being single. I'm enjoying doing what I need to do.
So good, I knew that I would. Been taking care of myself like I should.
Accomplishing my goals.
Hey, I'm on the road, riding so high, achieving my goals.
Working towards what I want in life. And I feel like every time I see those tweets, I feel like it can easily put me into this mindset of, is there really this huge part of life that I'm missing out on? I don't think there's anything wrong with people celebrating the good of relationships or putting out intentions for what they want in the future. But like I said, I think the issue is, I feel like with Idyllic Relationship Twitter, I feel like it only hyperfixates on the good of relationships, meaning the understanding that you have for your partner, the love you share with your partner, the intimacy you have with your partner. I feel like Idyllic Relationship Twitter only focuses focus on the good and positive of what it means to be in a loving and healthy relationship. I feel like the problem of this is when you only focus on all these things that people deserve and that they should have in a relationship, all the good that people should have, I feel like it can give people unrealistic expectations. And I feel like this can kind of build up this happily ever after fantasy for certain single people, where they think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna date people, and I'm gonna find this person and everything's gonna be great. We're going to learn each other's love language. We're gonna help each other work through our trauma. We're going to support each other. We're going to root for each other. Everything's going to be peachy keen. But I feel like the problem is, even in healthy relationships, there can be conflict, there can be struggles. And I feel like Idyllic Relationship Twitter is just about all the wonderful benefits and positive attributes of healthy, loving, monogamous relationships. So like I said, I feel like they can cause for single people to feel like they're missing out on something, and if they don't have that in their life at this very moment, there's something wrong with them. And I feel like they can also not be an accurate portrayal of what a relationship can be, because all of those positive attributes can exist in a relationship, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be moments where there's conflict, moments where there's disagreement, moments where people may need external help to try to figure out what's going on with the relationship. One of the things I want to talk about is there's Idyllic Relationship Twitter, but there's also Idyllic Reality Twitter, and I feel like they're very similar. And I would say Idyllic Reality Twitter is stuff like, you shouldn't have to put up with people in your life who don't treat you right. You shouldn't have to go to a job that you don't love every single day of your life. You should pursue your passion. You should pursue the things that make you happy in life. You should go after what you want in life. You shouldn't spend any time or energy towards things that don't serve you in this life. And here's my thing. I do think there's a lot of positive messages on Idyllic Reality Twitter that tell people that you should go after the things that make you happy in life. You should go after the things that you're passionate about. You should not tolerate people being negative to you, people being hateful to you. But one of the issues I have with Idyllic Reality Twitter is I feel like Idyllic Reality Twitter, like Idyllic Relationship Twitter, can kind of send these messages to people that aren't necessarily the most accurate or applicable to their situation. And what I mean by that is, it may sound good to say you should not tolerate anybody in your life who doesn't fully support you. But one of the problems is, I feel like people can take that and run with it and say, oh, well, if somebody doesn't say everything that I want them to say when I want them to say it and how I want them to say it, that means that they don't support me, and that means that they shouldn't be in my life. When the reality is, sometimes people, it's not that they don't support you, it's that they are challenging you to see things differently. Like, I feel like sometimes Idyllic Reality Twitter, like Idyllic Relationship Twitter, is just telling people what they want to hear. People want to hear about all these great things that come in a relationship. People want to hear about all these great things that should be their reality. But the actual reality of it is, sometimes people in your life may not 100% of the time agree with you, or 100% of the time support you in the way that you want them to support you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. They shouldn't be in your life. Sometimes those people who push back against some of your ideas or challenge you, they're the real people in your life who you need there, rather than the people who are just like, yes sis, buy that house, buy that car, buy this, buy that. One of my issues with Idyllic Twitter, meaning Idyllic Relationship Twitter and Idyllic Reality Twitter, is it's just telling you, you should have everything you want in life. You should have the perfect relationship because you deserve it. You should have the perfect job that makes you happy, that makes you feel good because you deserve it. When the reality is, we may all deserve a idyllic, perfect, loving relationship where we're being supported, we're supporting the other person, and we're working, we're healing. But the reality is, not all of us are going to find that just because we want it in the time we want it. Everyone can be open to receive that type of relationship, but the reality is, yes, under ideal circumstances, we should all be in healthy, loving relationships where our needs are met and our partner's needs are met. But in the world we live in, not everybody's going to be able to make the connections to build that type of relationship at this very moment. Some of us may find that in our 20s, some of us may find that in our 30s, some of us may find that in our 40s. I think it all depends on your willingness to search for that, the people in your area, how you approach relationships, what you're willing to do to find that relationship, and things of that sort. One of the things I want to add here is, I've noticed that some people try to equate having a healthy, loving, long-term monogamous relationship to being this reward for being emotionally mature and healing from your trauma. This idea that if you're self-aware, emotionally mature, and healed from your trauma, then badunk, like a healthy, loving partner is just gonna fall out of the sky. And I feel like we need to push back against this narrative, because it implies if you haven't found that, then there's some more work you need to do, when in reality it may be you just haven't met that person. That's my issue. I feel like one of the problems of Idyllic Twitter is this idea of, because you deserve it, you should have it. And I think this kind of goes into that whole manifesting mindset, like all of that type of stuff. I feel like one of the issues of social media is this idea of, because I deserve it, I should have it. And I think that we have to be real with ourselves and real with the world we live in. One of the problems I have with Idyllic Relationship Twitter and Idyllic Reality Twitter, and the verbiage of everyone deserves blank, is I feel like like it can subtly imply if you don't have certain things or if you don't receive certain things, that there's something wrong with you. Because if we have this idea built in our head that everyone deserves to have a loving, fulfilling, monogamous relationship, then if somebody wants that and if somebody's pursuing that and they don't receive that, then it can send this message of, well, if everyone deserves this and I'm not receiving this, what's wrong with me? What's the issue? What's going on? One of the people I think about when I see a lot of this, everyone deserves love, everyone deserves this, everyone deserves that, is the YouTuber 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒔𝒕, who I've spoken about a few times. She's a 38-year-old woman who wants to be married, who wants to have children, and she hasn't had those things happen yet. And I'm hopeful, I believe that she can meet somebody and have kids, since that's something she wants. I believe that that can happen for her. But one of the things I feel that can come up that's an issue is this idea of, oh, everyone deserves this, everyone deserves that. I believe 𝑭𝒊 deserves to have a healthy marriage and healthy kids like everybody else does. But is that her reality? No. So I feel like that's one of the shortcomings of idyllic Twitter, idyllic relationship Twitter, and idyllic reality Twitter. Yes, we deserve to have these things that we want in life, but the question remains, are we actually going to get those things in life? One of the problems I have of idyllic reality Twitter is I feel like there's this idea that if you keep working, if you keep going hard and going hard and going hard, eventually you're going to find the perfect relationship where everything is great and everything is wonderful all the time. Or if you keep working hard and working hard and working hard and being intentional, you'll create this reality where everything is exactly how you want it. And here's my thing. I do think you can do work to create a reality that you love. I do think you can do work to find a partner that you love. But I feel like idyllic reality Twitter, it kind of misconstrues how things work in the real world. I feel like social media can put out this idea that you can eventually work towards having a life where nothing makes you unhappy, where nothing unfortunate happens in your life, and where you're just so healed from your trauma that everything works out in your favor. And I don't like that. I don't think that that's very realistic. For example, let's talk about some of these YouTubers who have quote unquote made it. For example, Aina. Aina, she has her candle brand. She's made a lot of money from YouTube and from sponsorships and partnerships. So I would venture to assume that Aina is probably more happy now that she's actually achieved all these goals and had all of this success than she was when she was doing the work to build the platform to have all that success. But the issue that comes about is, even though I'm sure Aina is happy and fulfilled and content in her life, I feel like the issue with the perception of Twitter is there's probably some people that Aina has to work with or interact with that she probably doesn't love working or interacting with. Now, of course, she probably has some money where she doesn't have to necessarily tolerate the things that somebody with way less money has to tolerate. But the idea of her life being free of all stresses and negative things because she's done this work and because she's worked hard, I feel that's not a realistic or attainable idea. One of the issues I have with idyllic reality Twitter is this idea of if you put your head down, you work hard, you manifest, or you pray, or you do this or you do that, that somehow you're going to craft this reality where these things that trigger you, these things that bother you, just disappear. The struggle I have with this sentiment on Twitter is I feel you can do the work, you can heal from your trauma, you can work on your triggers and stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your life is going to be a walk in the park. You can be somebody who's successful, you can be somebody who works to achieve your goals, but still have struggles, still have things that don't work in this life. There's this idea of I deserve. There's this idea that because I deserve to be treated well, because I deserve to be treated kindly, because I deserve to be treated with respect, there's this idea that we can will our life to turn into a place where we're always treated with respect, we're always treated the way we want to, we never have to do anything we don't want to do. And I don't think that's realistic. I think there's this misconception of because you deserve something, that's how your reality is going to play out. And I don't think that that's the truth. I think that we can work to minimize the negative things that we have in our life. I think we can exercise the power that we do have in our life to minimize the things we don't like. Idyllic reality Twitter will tell you, you deserve this, you don't deserve that. And I feel like idyllic Twitter will try to make you feel like, oh, well, because I deserve this, this is how my reality is going to be. When the reality is, just because you deserve something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it. That's one of my struggles with some of these phrases like everyone deserves love, everyone deserves kindness, everyone deserves respect. I think that we all do deserve these things. One of my struggles with that is, yes, everyone should have this in their life, everyone should have that in their life, but I think the problem is just because we all should deserve something doesn't necessarily mean that those things are going to come in our life. And I feel like if we want to have these conversations, we have to really go there. I feel like we can't just stop at everyone deserves to have this type of love, everyone deserves to have this type of reality when it comes to the way they're treated in life, the way that they're talked to in life. I feel like we have to have more critical conversations about everyone deserves to have this type of a reality, and here are steps you can take to work towards that, or here's ways you can work to minimize negative things in your life. Because I feel like some of Idyllic Reality Twitter doesn't really consider that just because you want something really badly doesn't mean that that thing's going to come about. So those are my feelings on Idyllic Relationship Twitter and Idyllic Reality Twitter. So let me know how you feel. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the points I made in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. That way, even if YouTube isn't pushing my content, those who resonate with it are sharing it so it can connect with others who would enjoy it. Those are some easy, free ways to support a pop of culture. If you want to support this show financially, feel free to send a tip to my Cash App or buy me a cup of coffee. Both are linked below. All who donate will be featured in the credits of my long-form commentary and cover videos. There are 2 playlists that are going to pop up, one where you can binge watch my covers and one where you can binge watch my commentary. Enjoy. Bye-bye.